We're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank you, God Almighty! We are free at last!
Hey, yo, maybe you could tell from that opening clip, but today is the day immediately following one of the greatest days in history. It was a monumental day. Since late 2024, the last couple of months, it seems like the world has been righting itself. You know, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's in the air. A lot of these companies are now having issues with some of the policies that they have implemented, especially in the last 4 years. Which brings me to Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Meta. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Threads. He also has some other stuff. He's also come out in a letter to Congress saying that he was pressured by the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but prior to the letter being written, he was called in front of Congress and questioned about censorship on the platform. And he said that there was no censorship. So wouldn't that be lying under oath? I don't know. Will he ever get charged for anything? Probably not. He's a billionaire. He owns some of the biggest platforms in the world. He has too much power. And I think he saw the power that he had. Now, why is he all of a sudden having this about face on it? I'm not sure. Does he know something that we don't know? Potentially. But now he's saying that he is going to be implementing some new changes at Meta. Maybe he knew better because he sees Trump's coming back into office. He sees free speech is back on the table. It's back on the table over at X. It's back on the table over there at Meta. There's really only one place left. There's not too many of these places. Even Google, I saw that they're rolling back their DEI policies. Americans are done with this. It's over. You had your 4 years, 5 years of fun, and now we want normalcy back. So all the people that working at these companies with the purple hair and the blue hair and the million facial piercings and all of that, it's done. All right, we're ready for free speech back in this country. And again, I'm not saying people can't change their minds, but it seemed like Facebook was the one leading the charge when it went to censorship.
Say it.
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past? With
Probably. Yeah, probably.
First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
You mean you're going to allow people to have the discussions and somewhat vote on if it's fake or real? Instead of just people up at Meta that decide, hey, I don't want you to know about this story, because that's what they've pretty much become. All right, they pretty much have become, oh, we don't want you to know about that, so we're just going to shadow ban it. You know, if you have discussions on certain platforms about there only being two genders, you'll get shadow banned. If you wanted to have a discussion about a president's son's electronic devices, specifically a laptop, you get shadow banned. If you wanted to have conversations around the 2020 presidential election, same thing. Because I guess the people at all of these big tech companies know what's best for the people. You know what? We'll just get that out there. Put in the videos or suggestions that there's 10,000 genders, and that's what they push.
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created.
You damn right. You gave those quote-unquote fact checkers undisputed authority. All right, think about how many people that they've lost on the platform that have gone over to places like X, where you can speak about things freely. You can have open discussions. Because that's how we're ever going to get anywhere in a society. Not by only speaking in our echo chambers. You need to be able to speak amongst each other. Information needs to travel. And when they just shoot down videos, shoot down information, shoot down posts that are posting the truth, only to come back 6 months, a year and a half later and say, oh, you know what? We got it wrong.
Especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms.
Shouldn't that have always been what it's supposed to be? This is an American company in America. Now, if we talking about other countries around the world, that's completely different. They have their own set of government. But if people are online, I mean, freedom of speech. I get it. It was written in the 1700s, but you need to bring it into the future, and that includes social media posts. All right, you can't censor people because you don't agree with it. Pushing views that aren't in tune with what people are thinking. All right, you're trying to get us to see stuff your way by just pushing that until we just comply. All right, I'm so happy with this election that people showed up the way that they did. Because if the Democrats had even won one of the houses in Congress, I don't know if we're having this conversation.
Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms.
And I hope that these employees at these companies with these millions of dyed hairs and they got 1,000 cats at home, I hope that they start dialing it back. You had your fun, and that's it. All right, the people have won. All right, and unless you want to face potential shutdown like TikTok, I hope that they all starting to get the picture.
Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed. So we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again.
And that's what I mean. Because some little snowflakes went and said, Papa Zuck, we're offended. These people keep on bringing up ideas that make us feel scared. We feel anxious about it. And he goes, oh yeah, I know what's best for you. Here you go. I'll just take it all off the platform. I'll demonetize people. I'll take down their pages. I'll just throttle their pages so that they don't get any type of traction. It sounds good, and I hope Meta continues to go down this path, and maybe they could show some other companies that this is what we got to do. This is what the people want. It's much bigger than their meeting room with probably like 12 people, 20 people that making decisions for millions of users.
Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
That right there shows me that maybe there is some promise. Maybe he is serious. Because to move out of Cali, blue, heavy stronghold of Democrats that is California, to the complete opposite in the deep red state of Texas, I wonder how that's going to work. I wonder if he's going to lose a lot of employees that say they don't want to move from California to Texas. And then you see Trump just signed in some executive orders that say federal employees got to show back up to work in the office. So if Facebook takes a note out of that book, and all of the employees have to be in office, that's going to be beautiful to see how those California liberals do in Texas if they decide to keep the job. I could go in on this topic with things that I think that have been censored, okay? But because of where I am, I have to understand that maybe everyone hasn't gotten the word yet. I like that Zuckerberg is changing his mind and rolling back the restrictions that I don't believe ever should have been in place. I believe that he's one of the biggest reasons for censorship right now because he led the way with censoring people over there on Facebook. And hopefully now he can innovate in a new way. You know, he can show them that, hey, we can let these people have the discussions, because as an American in America, why do I have to ask to have conversations about anything? Anything. You know, a few years ago we had the world shut down. Why do I have to say that? Why can't I just openly and freely say whatever I want? Okay, but you got the powers that be, all right, these people that have had unchecked authority. They've been able to do whatever they want. These big tech companies need to roll back all of their censorship. All right, they know the serious things to look out for, okay, but they need to roll back a lot of this censorship, because they're only making themselves look out of touch with people. Okay, you heard Mark Zuckerberg in his own words. All right, they weren't in line with what people were actually thinking and discussing. It's done. It's over. It's finished. Okay, you had your fun and it's done. And if you're at a company that hasn't gotten the word yet, it's only a matter of time. It's coming. I know you were used to getting bullied in school, all right, stuffed into the locker and picked on, and then you went to college and got a little bit of authority at a big tech company, and you think that you reign supreme over everyone. Well, guess what? It's done. It's finished. What do you think about Mark Zuckerberg? Do you believe him? Are you on Facebook? Do you think that the censorship is a lot over there? Do you think that he had a lot to do with a lot of things that has happened in the past 4 to 5 years through the censorship that Facebook led social medias with? Do you believe that he's trying to save his own behind from something? Do you think we would be having this conversation if Kamala Harris won the presidential election? Or do you think that he all of a sudden had a change of heart and, you know, it just coincidentally lined up with Trump returning to the White House? I personally don't have a Facebook account. All right, there was too much censorship over there. But if he rolls it back, who knows? AO Wavy might be over there on Facebook as well. I'm interested to know whatever you're thinking in the comment section. Till the next video, y'all be safe and stay wavy.
Repetition is the father of learning.